Well, hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the LinkedIn for Notaries call. Today is Wednesday, May 15th. And we are going to talk a little bit about the power of LinkedIn. This is the very last, hey, Sandra. Sandra just joined us. You're on mute, though, by the way. We're going to be talking about LinkedIn and the power of that platform to help grow your business as a mobile notary and loan signing agent. This is the last in the series of conversations that we're having really about Sandra Long's book, LinkedIn for Personal Branding, and her course, LinkedIn Personal Best. I've been taking that over the last several months, implementing everything, and I'm really honored and truly appreciate Sandra's participation in helping me grow my business, and so many of you as well. I know so many have read the book and taken Sandra's course as well. Sandra, welcome. Thank you so much for spending so much of your day with us today. You're on here. Let me see if I can unmute you here. There you go. Now we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep, there you go. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me, Bill. Great to be here. And thank you for anyone here who's read my book or taken my course, or also just thank you for being here today, right?
Yeah, this is a big deal. We're in the middle of the day on the East Coast. It's pretty early in the morning on a Wednesday, so it means a lot that you guys are taking some time out of your day to help grow yourself, grow your business, and learn something new. I'm real excited about today's topic, Sandra. I think this was probably, well, I can't even say that. There's been so many parts of your course that I would deem as my favorite. The strategic profile portion really helped enhance my my whole profile and everything. It was kind of embarrassing when I first started this journey in December, how my profile, and here I am, a professional mobile notary loan signing agent. I'm a teacher, you know, I'm a course creator, and that profile was pretty terrible. And now I'm actually really proud of it. I love sending people to my LinkedIn profile. I love it when people find it. I've got videos on there. I've got the graphics. I learned how to put those vertical lines in between my titles. I mean, I really, really love it. And I really appreciate what you've done for me there. This is I guess my second favorite topic. It's the content. So that's really what I kind of want to talk about today. I know you just enhanced your course with some additional material too, and I just went through that and wrapped that up. So that'll be the kind of the topic that we're going to go through today, and then we'll open it up for questions, answers, and maybe work on some strategy about how to connect with your ideal customer on here. Does that sound okay, Sandra?
It sounds good. I do want to add something, just as you're sort of framing this out, and since you've just taken the course, they all go together. Like you're having a great profile, and then having a strategic network and community, and then the content, it all works together. Because if you just have content, that's not good. If you don't have the network that's going to be looking at your content, and you also, they're also going to be, once they're interested in you, they're going to look at your profile. So it all works together. All those elements.
You know, I've noticed that very strongly. In fact, I think when I first started, the part I wanted least was the profile part. I was like, whatever, I got a picture, I got some words, I'm good. You know, I really didn't, I was a latecomer to LinkedIn. I just thought it was kind of a glorified resume posting page. You know, I didn't know what to do with it. So when I got into the course though, and I started laying out the strategic profile, and then started to see building the community and creating content, then it makes total sense. Because if you're producing amazing content, but you're sending them to a lackluster profile, you're actually probably doing more damage to your reputation than anything. So it all really made sense. I love how you structured it.
Thanks.
So let's talk a little bit about content. So the way you laid this out was really great, and it really made it clear to me. On LinkedIn, there's basically three types of content, right? Mm-hmm. Can you elaborate a little bit on the post, articles, and videos?
Sure. So there's, Bill just mentioned there's posts, articles, and videos. So a post is what you typically see in the feed, and it's produced by an individual, but also a company can produce a post. So sometimes you'll see posts from company pages. So a post is is something that, you know, gives you a lot of opportunity. You can add a link if you wish. You can add an image. Now you can add a document or a PowerPoint, which is brand new this year, which is really a nice feature. So a post gives you a lot of flexibility. They're kind of fleeting, and one of the other ways to sort of slice up content is that there's evergreen content, you know, and then there's sort of just general content that's going to be very time sensitive. So a post is something that you put it out there and it's going to last as long as people are engaging with it, and then it's not going to be that visible unless you do something to save it. So so that's a post, and posts are really popular. That it's the most popular type of content on LinkedIn. It's also the easiest. So it used to be, back in the old days, a couple of years ago, a lot of people were putting third-party links, and you would see the post would be a direct link, and LinkedIn would pull the image, and that was pretty popular, but those are not popular anymore. I mean, you might do that sometimes, but LinkedIn penalizes you. You don't get as much visibility. So it's more, you're going to do better with your own original thoughts and ideas that you share. And if you are going to do a link, then I suggest putting it in the first comment.
Oh, great idea. Great idea. So then it's not as part of the post. And that makes total sense, right? LinkedIn wants to keep the eyes on their platform. So they don't want to send people off to a different website. So that makes total sense.
Yeah, that's totally right. So posts have become super popular. Engagement is way up on LinkedIn. And, you know, different people have different styles. And the other thing is you can use mentions and hashtags on all of these, which is great.
Yeah.
And you can search for all this. So it's really, it's the content piece has exploded in popularity, just exploded in popularity.
Yeah, that makes total sense, because the number of people on the platform is exploding too. So I think, and people are starting to realize the real value of this and what you can do with it. It's pretty robust. Now, when it comes to posts, I think most people are familiar with posts, right? Because we relate it to other social media platforms that we're on. You know, we're on Facebook, we make posts. So when we're on LinkedIn, we make posts, and I see these huge, long posts sometimes. I'm like, man, that should have been an article. You know,
yeah.
And because posts are fleeting. You spend all that time writing in there, and then by day 2, 48 hours later, it's gone. It's buried under other posts. So that kind of leads us right into writing an article. How do articles work?
Well, let me just say something about what you just said.
Sure.
So the posts, they'll show you like 3 or 4 lines, and you have to click see more to see the full piece, right? And they are very popular. I mean, generally speaking, they're going to get more immediate views if you do it as a post. Now, the benefit of an article is that it stays on your profile forever. All right, so if you were to look on my profile, I just wrote actually an article about evergreen content, describing how you can write content and create content that's always there and available. So an article is really a blog post, again, attached to your personal page. And one of the reasons I love using it is that sometimes people will read, if they're interested in me or my business, they'll read my articles from a year ago, from 2 years ago. I have one article I wrote, which is why your CEO needs to be on LinkedIn. And I get a lot of companies calling me, and the marketing team calls, and we talk about content and helping their sales team. And then they'll say, well, geez, I don't know, it'd be good to get our leadership team online. And I'll send them my article because I have it, or they'll see it on my profile. So I get to use it year over year, year after year. So thinking about, when you think about your content, think about, is this something for just now, or is this something that you want to create as your body of work? Because an article, you're basically creating that, it's on your page. You can certainly delete it and edit it, but you can also keep it there forever. Like some people have dozens of articles that are considered, part of their body of work, and you can easily find them. So it's really a nice thing. You can add images. If you do an article, it's like a blog. It's set up as a blogging platform, and there's no cost. You don't have to be premium. And you can put a nice image, get a very SEO-friendly headline, and you can put images throughout the content. And what I suggest is at the bottom of your blog, and your blog should be at least 500-700 words. I mean, the LinkedIn prefers like 1,500 to 2,000 words, but so it's not a post, it's an article. And at the end, you can put like a little bio with your link, and I usually write that in the third person. So I love articles. And so
yeah,
have you written an article, Bill?
I have. Yeah. In fact, I'd like to show the profile. I was either going to bring up your profile or my profile because actually in your course is when I learned about native video too. And I know we're going to talk about that here in a second, but I just posted my first one and I tagged you in it too. Okay. Just because I just learned about it yesterday. So before we do that, I really want to talk specifically about notaries, and when it comes specifically to posts, and when it comes to these articles, and the concept of knowing who your ideal customer is. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So I think the idea, so we know like kind of how you can post, but I think a really important topic is like, what do you talk about? What's the content? What is the type of content? Because that is going to be representing your brand. When they look at your profile represents your brand, but so does everything you post and even things that you like. So I think that, one of the things we talked about early on, Bill, we've talked about every time we talk about notaries, it's about trust and reliability, and that they're going to believe in you, that you're going to be there when you say you're there, and that are going to have great follow-up and, all those kind of qualities, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So that is something that can, thinking about the qualities that people are looking for, and also thinking about being as helpful as you can. So like if you can do one thing on articles, that people love lists. So you could do a list of something that your ideal client would need to know. Like, so maybe it's something related to a real estate closing, right? Or something about, what would be an example, Bill?
Yeah, well, and that goes, it can depend a little bit, right? And so it depends on if we're trying to get actual customers for general notary work, if we're trying to attract escrow officers, if we're trying to attract attorneys. But so the list could totally be like, what are the top 3 things you need to know before you create your last will and testament? Or what are the top 3 things to do before you get the keys to your new home? You can utilize other resources. There's so many industry specific resources where we can tap into real estate agents who give that kind of advice, and we can be of value, because that's what it all boils down to, right, Sandra? Is just the value, and I love that you drive that point home so much.
It is totally about, it shouldn't be all, I'm great and I'm wonderful. It should be about serving, and because what happens is if you're helpful, they'll come to you. They'll consider you the person that they want to work with. So I liked all your ideas. And one of the things, like if you've got an idea, say it's something to do with a closing or last will and testament or whatever the idea you might have, I would Google it and read a bunch of things that other people have written, and then you make your ideas. If you read 5 articles on that topic, and you might, even though you know the topic, you'll get ideas just because you're reading what other people are saying, and then make your own personal list and bring your own voice to the ideas, and people will really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got a great question that's in the chat window. I can always count on Michelle for digging in deep on questions about how this impacts, or how a typical everyday notary could utilize LinkedIn. And I'm going to just kind of elaborate on this too. And Sandra, feel free to jump in as you do it. But when we work, our mobile notary and loan signing business is based on relationships. The quality and the amount of revenue that we drive, the impact that we have, is all based on the relationships that we have. And for us, luckily, our ideal customer is pretty clear cut for us. We know that it's escrow officers or closing agents or closing attorneys. If it's general notary work, you can niche that down as well. But let's just talk about the loan signing side right now, because that's what most of us are doing. So we know that escrow officers are our ideal customer. And guess where escrow officers are at? Where do they have the profiles? Where are they showing the best representation of themselves? Right here. Right on LinkedIn. This is where you find them. This is where you do that research that we talk about. This is, you know, you have your Fat 100 list. I want this escrow officer, this escrow officer, this escrow officer. And guess where? They're hanging out. Their bosses are bragging about them. They're getting tagged and mentioned in posts. They are sharing what they're doing and the impact that they're having in the community. This is a gold mine for anybody who is trying to research and find unique and creative ways to connect with escrow officers or their ideal customer of any kind. And all of this matters when you're creating content that would be attractive to them or show your expertise in this field and have a strategic profile, because they're going to research you right back. If you are asking them to connect, they're like, who's this person? I'm going to go check it out. And if you've got a lackluster profile with no picture or picture of a dog that doesn't have anything to do with this or whatever it is, no content, nothing that shows your passion for this business, they're going to skip right over you.
Yeah.
Sandra, anything else you want to say?
I love what you said about you see your ideal, you're connecting. It gets back to the networking piece. So if you've connected with a lot of people that are these escrow officers and you've systematically connected with them, and your point was you see them getting recognized by their boss, they get mentioned, they get maybe there's a photo of them or there's an article or a mention, jumping into that and adding your congratulations, it really helps warm up the relationship. And you see me, I do that all the time. I'm always trying to congratulate or like what they post. If they're actively posting on LinkedIn, they would love to see your comments. So this is actually a big point. The comments that you make are vital, and they're just as important as the posts that you make, because people see those. Those are very, very visible, and those are ways you can engage and actually build relationships, because people will be so happy that you're engaging with the post. Don't you agree, Bill?
Yeah, absolutely. If they're active, I love it when you go to LinkedIn. Even when I'm trying to find an example of how this research stuff works, and they're posting, they're active on LinkedIn, because when they're active, they're trying to generate interest. They've got a goal too. So when you start engaging with them, that warms it up real quick. And if you've made a few comments on them, but you're not yet connected, or you haven't had the opportunity to have a different level of conversation, making comments and liking and sharing, all of that really helps warm things up. Because I'm very vocal about it comes from fear. I don't do cold calls. The whole system that I created in my business was because I had to find a way to be successful without making cold calls, because I just wouldn't do it. I still won't do it. So I have to warm people up. I have to connect. I have to find a different way of connecting with them in social media in general, but LinkedIn specifically, because it's how you find your ideal customer, really makes that easy. So if we have to move from the transactional way of thinking, like, I'm not just going to get on LinkedIn and get an order. I'm not going to get on LinkedIn and find somebody who needs a notary right now. It's not going to work that way. That's why, and I'm going to talk about your favorite list of the worst LinkedIn posts here in just a minute, because we're not trying to advertise our services. This isn't about creating graphics that just constantly advertise, we're a great notary. We're adding value, and we're interacting, and we're laying the foundation of a relationship. That's what LinkedIn, the power of LinkedIn, really has.
That's right. And I love what you said about cold calling. And you'll be happy to know that you're probably making a good decision by not cold calling, because 90% of buyers will not respond to a cold call. So
isn't that amazing?
On that, you got to warm them up. You have to warm them up, right?
Yes, exactly. Sometimes you got to get hot. Some people are a little harder to get into. That's so true. We've got a couple of.
Talk about the video. I don't think I answered you about the video.
No, let's roll right into the video now, because that's perfect. The native video.
Okay. So in 2017, LinkedIn introduced native video for personal accounts, and it got super exciting. Actually, that was the beginning of the new LinkedIn. So I've been on LinkedIn since 2005, and it's been a steady climb of new users, but once 2017 hit, it just went crazy because of native video. So it's pretty interesting. You can do it. You do it on your phone. I recommend that you do it not on the LinkedIn app, but you do it just using your iPhone or your Android, and then upload it from there into LinkedIn. And the maximum is 10 minutes, but I don't recommend that. It's too long because people won't want to watch it. So just 1 or 2 minutes is a perfect length for you to do it, just a short video. And then you upload it right to your personal page, and then you can put a comment, you put comments, hashtags, etc., and it gets great visibility. It really does.
Do you mind if we pull up my profile real quick and I'll just show
Yeah.
the one that I just did?
Yeah, sure. That's a good idea.
Great. Bear with me 1 second here. Okay. So let's go here. I'm just going to go right into this that I created here. First thing is, let's see if I can show it here. Yeah. So one of the first suggestions that Sandra makes is they don't have a custom thumbnail option yet in the LinkedIn native video. So make your first 1 second really good. And I did not listen to her. But I'm taking a nap right here in the first
okay.
So that's one thing to pay attention to. But then you can, as Sandra mentions, you can mention, I mentioned her, and then I even added some hashtags, hashtag nap time, hashtag notary like that. So I've already had 15 views as of this morning.
So this is a great thing. Like, it'd be great if you guys, commented on that. That would be great. Like, oh, I enjoyed the program. Thanks, Bill. Good, whatever. It's just, again, it's building relationships and visibility. And you'll see some of your clients are doing videos too, and it's a great chance to hop in. The other thing is when you see the video, you have to, if you see a video in your feed, you have to scroll it up so we can see Bill. You have to click on it to get the sound, because the sound doesn't come on automatically.
Hi, everybody. My name is Bill.
Yeah, it just auto plays until you click the button for the sound. That's important. I want to talk a little bit about that engagement really quick, though, because I think that's really important. I love that you talk about it so much, because engagement with your ideal customer or your colleagues or with me or whoever it is like one of the best and easiest ways that you create a win-win relationship with somebody. There's so many times where you look at the videos, you look at the posts, and there's thousands of views, but there's 26 likes or 0 comments. People are looking at it, but they're not engaging. If you've got an influencer, somebody that you appreciate hearing content from, like you got Oprah, you got whoever's your person, right? And they're delivering value to you, it's okay to like it. It's okay to show some sort of interest in that might help them along in their journey as well. You can do that. Well, you see it all day with notaries too. They're out there, they're hustling, they're posting, they're creating value. We can help each other by making those likes and posts. And on LinkedIn, it seems more powerful than any other platform I've ever been on, because you can actually see all the activity, every single like that a person does.
I mean, since a lot of you guys are on the road and you're doing interesting things, like I think you could get some great either video or images, of you, with clients or about to go to a special thing. You could say, here I am in wherever, New Mexico or wherever, you can really use the imagery and the video, and then try to, again, be helpful, but also, not just only business, but if you can bring a little shred, a little piece of, where you are, kind of what you're doing, who you're meeting, maybe showing gratitude. I love, we talked about the gratitude, always, like, sometimes with a lot of my customers, after I do some work with them, I'll say, oh, can we do a photo after I do a class? We do a photo and I can put it on LinkedIn. I want to thank you. And they usually say yes. So you could even do that and say, depending on the type of client, like I know some of your things are very sensitive and you would not do that. So you have to make a decision. But sometimes when you go to a networking event or you go to meet certain people and you're helping others, a lot of people will want to be featured on LinkedIn, and you can just ask permission. And the way I always post about other people is I always show gratitude. Thank you. It was wonderful to meet you. Keep up the great work. Something like that.
Yeah, that's huge. And gratitude, Gratitude is also another very easy way to connect with people as well. And we talked a little bit about how, you got presidents and vice presidents that are showing appreciation, gratitude, and congratulations to their employees on here. A lot of those employees are your ideal customers. So you can connect and you can be a part of the celebration with them too.
Yeah,
That stuff
comments are gold. I mean, honestly, comments are really gold.
Yes, they are. They go a long way. So I want to talk a little bit now because we're kind of touched on the content, delivering value. Let's talk about the posts that we should be avoiding.
Okay.
I saved your list of your.
I haven't looked at that in a long time.
I'm going to refresh your memory. I thought so because I thought these were really good. So this is Sandra's list of worst LinkedIn posts. It's overtly pushing a product or service and not offering upfront value.
Yep, definitely.
So what we want to avoid there is just constant advertising. A lot of us are still in the transactional mode. We're still in hustle mode, right? We're like, okay, well, I'm getting on LinkedIn, but how am I going to get business? Remember, this is the relationship part. This is if you're sitting in your business and you're wondering, where am I going to find escrow officers? Do I have to go knock on all those doors? Do I have to find an email list? You don't have to. It's right here on LinkedIn, and you can literally search for their job positions, escrow officer. You can search for the companies they work for. It brings all of them up. It's an amazing tool for that. The other thing, the second one that you have here is boastful posting. What's a boastful post look like?
Where you use all your posting about how great you are, and and I realize that people do put their awards up, and sometimes people put pictures of them getting awards, and I think it's a matter of how you present that. It could be, I'm so grateful to have received this award is better than saying, look at this. I mean, it's just about how you position everything. Yeah. And if you come across as only focused on boasting about yourself, people will not be attracted to you. It's just think about who you're attracted to. That's just the human nature.
Exactly. There's not going to be what you're attracted to in person, you're also going to be attracted to online. So you don't want to, the rules don't necessarily change online for typical human reaction.
Exactly.
And then the three, I'll just combine the two here, is no political, no religious posts.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I don't get into that just because I don't do that online. I don't really get into that on Facebook either. It's just my personal choice because I have a business. And so I don't want to talk about that stuff. I mean, if I was in that business, if I was, if my job was working for a political campaign, then I would put it on my profile or whatever, but that's not my situation. So yeah, I recommend staying away from it.
Yep. All right. Love it. Okay. So let's go to a few questions. We'll open this up for Q&A. Sure. We've got a few in the chat window that I want to address real quick. Bear with me as I just roll back here. All right. Question from Kathy. She says, I've been on LinkedIn since it began as a PMP IT professional with hundreds of connections. What do you suggest I do to switch to a profile as a notary? I don't want to lose the prior connections, but do want to update and add notary connections who right now don't see me as a notary.
Okay. I totally get this. And I too made a big dramatic shift in myself back in 2013. So I was working for a large company. I was a senior executive, and then I started my own business and went into doing this LinkedIn thing. So I understand that you are positioning yourself and repositioning, because you have to think not only of the new people you want to meet, but the people that knew you from the old work that you're doing. Those people are still potential prospects or referral partners. So you don't want to get rid of any of those people that they know you, they trust you. What you want to do is reposition their thinking about you, and then you want to add more context. So it's a combination of your personal branding, and also building out your network more in line with where you're headed. So to start off with on your branding, really, the whole profile piece, you have to analyze every aspect of your profile. So, if you're brand new to the notary business, then I think it's a little bit different than if you've got a lot of experience. But instead of focusing on experience, you can write about, why you're going into the notary business, what's important, why do you, what value do you do you want to bring to your clients? You know, you can talk about things in just a different way. And then once you get experience, you can reposition it a little. But, you know, you want to be thinking about your headline and your summary, which they're changing. They're going to be calling it the about section. And it's really where you have your essay. That is the key part, because in your whole profile, you'll have your old experience and you're going to have a new experience section, right? And if you don't use the summary or the about section, it might be confusing to people that they're like, well, what does she do? I thought she did this and I thought she did that. So the summary and the headline kind of bring it all together. So they'll be able to really clearly see, oh yeah, she was doing this and now she's doing this. And you're basically telling your story. The other thing is thinking about all the different aspects. So did you take courses to become a notary, right? Is that something to get certified?
Right. Yeah. You get commissioned, you can get certified, you can do additional training. Yeah, there's lots you can do.
So I love the idea, especially if you're new to it, to definitely be talking about the training, the learning, the certification, because maybe you can't say you've been a notary for 5 years, but you can talk about these other things on your profile. So that's your profile, is really positioning yourself. And you should be changing that all the time as you get more experience. And I love it that it could be sort of a personal story. Again, not being boastful, but telling your story. You're showing your enthusiasm for your career is attractive to people. Then on your network, you keep all your old friends and connections, but you can do searches for the escrow agents and escrow officers, and you'll find people that are escrow officers that you're connected to second level, and that will be so exciting. You'll say, wow, I didn't know that my friend here that I've known for 10 years knows this person at this bank or this person at this law firm, and LinkedIn will help you connect those dots, and then you can start connecting to those other people. So it's an exciting time to, you know, and LinkedIn's the perfect way to help you make that transition. I hope that's helpful.
That sounds really helpful there. Kathy, any other question or follow up on that?
Yes, actually, I started doing my notary job or notary business before I quit the IT job. So I kind of balanced both. I've been doing it for almost 10 years. But they didn't know, okay? Because when you work for an IT company, they're very jealous. They don't like you doing anything else, and they want you focused on them. So they still don't know. And I was, didn't want to lose my people, like you said. They're still there. They're still, my friends. But I didn't know how to break into it. I didn't know how to overlay all those years of IT work with, oh, guess what? Now I'm a notary. So yeah. Suggestions help, but I'm not new at this. So that's
okay. So you were just sort of doing it on the side.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
so work from home anyway.
So is it still a side gig for you, Kathy?
It was a side. My IT job was main. This was a side gig for 8-9 years. So I was doing both, and then I just decided to retire like last year.
Because I would have told you what I would have told you over the last 8 years. If you have a lot of people here do have side gigs, and I think again you can position that because you're going to have people coming to you from your main job and your side gig, and unless you think that your boss would have a problem, I usually would say to people, have the conversation. Usually, to say to your boss, well, on the weekends I do this. Because you wouldn't believe how many.
But the company had rules against 2 jobs.
If they have rules against it, then you can't.
You had to zip.
Okay. Most companies you can, and then you'd weave your story. This is what I do. I'm an IT professional, but on weekends or evenings I do this. And usually that's okay, but you have to be careful. So I get it. So now you're really fully doing this.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's exciting.
Yep. I love it.
That's
awesome.
Great.
And
do I just put in a new profile? Or are you saying just on top of the old one?
You keep the same profile. You have to add the experience section of your notary position. Leave your old job. You'll just show that you ended in May or April or whenever you left.
Okay.
You have a new experience section.
Okay.
And then your headline should say that you're a mobile notary.
Right.
And your summary, which is your essay, should talk about you recently retired and you're so excited to start to be fully, to doing the mobile notary and why you love it, because then it's perfect to do that,
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, and then on that same note, like the biggest struggle I've experienced, Sandra, with other notaries is that summary, writing about yourself, showing your passion. That people just want to skip over that or just give the facts. But if you really tap into the heart of why you're doing this, it will pay off for you, because people work with people work with people who love what they do. So if you can show that and express that, then it will help out for sure. Guy says, I have a business page on LinkedIn too. Is there a way to, on my business page, refer to the business site?
Okay, so if you have a company page, I'm not sure about your question, but I think I know what you need to know. So
clarify here.
I have a regular page like you guys, plus a business page. And I know that you already expressed that the business pages are not going so well right now. But because of something that you said earlier in the conversation today, it made me think, as far as content, could I direct them towards that page?
Okay. So let me say something about business pages. First of all, they used to be called company pages, and now they're just called pages. And if you asked me a year ago, I would have said they were okay. They're much better. LinkedIn's brought in a lot of new features. So I love pages now. And you have to think, if you have a company page and a personal page, you have to think about, when you're doing content, does it go on this page or that page? One of the things and I have a page, and I love having a page, because I want not only to be known for Sandra Long, but I want followers and connections, but on my page, which is Post Road Consulting, I want people to follow that. And so one of the things I like to do, and it might work for you, is if I put a post on the company page, and by the way, on the page, if you're going to put a third-party link, I never would put it on my personal, but I would put it on my company, like say there's an article from Forbes or something. So if I put an article on my page and then I post it, and then I go as Sandra Long and I like it or comment, then it shows up under Sandra Long and under the company. So I love that. And that's a really good little strategy to help you with that. But I feel like the pages are much, much better. The other thing, there's a new feature that they're just testing, which is really exciting. When you connect with somebody now, after you connect with them, LinkedIn will show you, do you want to follow their page? So that's like amazing. And the other thing is they're going to come out with a feature which they don't yet have, which is you can invite people to your page. I've heard they're going to come out with it, which is like the Facebook feature. So you can invite people to that page. So that will be crazy good. So I like the pages.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. Vernice says, my main area of expertise is in another area. I plan to write articles for both of my businesses. Is there any feedback or advice for highlighting my new and developing notary content?
So, hi, Vernice. I would say, first of all, you can do two businesses and successfully on LinkedIn, and you can write the article. You can write different articles about different parts of your life. But what I'm going to say to you is then your headline and your summary are super important, because you want to be clearly saying, these are the two things I do. I'm a mobile notary and I'm a whatever, and this is how my life works. I mean, you want to position it so that anyone will understand, because if you just start posting articles about things that aren't connected, people will get confused. So I think so again, making sure your headline has 120 characters, so you have space to put in that you're a mobile notary and that you're a whatever else you're doing. And then in the summary, write about it as well. Does that help?
Awesome.
It does. Thank you. I am a member of Sandra's Crest, and I will be, and I'm a little confused because I got butterflies all over my head, and I'm trying to hone them in. This helps me to do that. So I appreciate you guys for taking the time.
Thanks, Vernice. Good seeing you.
Yep, glad you made it.
In your car. She's in her car. She's a mobile notary in her car.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's the story of our life, right?
I'm getting ready to walk into a signing too, so I'm gonna have to catch the end of it. I'm sitting
You
at the end of
go.
the driveway now.
There you go.
Okay,
That's
thanks.
awesome.
No problem, Vernice. We're 10 minutes past the scheduled time, and I know Sandra's super busy, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. Sandra, thank you so much for spending so much of your time with us in the middle of the day. We really appreciate it. Awesome book, guys. This is LinkedIn for Personal Branding. This changed my entire LinkedIn life and life after that. Plus, there's a great course. I'll send you the link if you're interested in her course as well. I'll send it out in the email as well as the replay on this. Thank you guys for growing yourself and your business. Thanks, Sandra.
Thank you. Bye. Have a great day.